Most hard conversations fail before they even start because you walked in trying to win. Today, we learn to start with heart.
Hello, and welcome to the Leadership Lounge Book Club. Glad everybody's here today. My name is Chris Duncan. I'll be hosting today, and I'm joined by my colleague Shannon McCoy. Hello, Shannon. And Alan Edwards.
Howdy.
Normally we have Jay Jacobson with us, but as some of you may have noticed last week, he had his arm in a sling, and he was on some really good drugs during the podcast, but he did pretty well still. I think he kept his composure. We were all slightly jealous. He was up in the recliner and his wife was taking care of him. But anyway, this week he's out with some follow-up appointments. So I believe he's fine and on the mend, and we will miss him because he did contribute well to last week. But I know he'll be back next week. At least fingers crossed he doesn't lose his arm and bad things happen.
Oh, wow.
But let's not go too grim. Let's just hope he comes back. All right. Well, it's also too bad because Alan finally got the image of Jay inserted into the splash screen on the YouTube video. So it's good timing for him not to be participating when his picture's finally included.
Yay.
Anyway, yes, all done. For those of us that are here, thank you for viewing us live. For those of us that are watching on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook, leave us some feedback, give us the comments. You can comment on any of those platforms. Let us know what you're seeing. If you've got questions, have something you want us to talk about, go ahead and leave it in one of the chats. If you want to join us live next week, if you want or catch up on past episodes, want weekly reminders, it's all up on our book club website. The book club website is sedaris.com/book club. That's CDAERIS.com/book club. All right, let's get started. Shannon, what are the rules of book club? Shannon.
The first rule of book club is we always talk about book club.
Okay. Shannon may have lost his audio. We can see him.
Yep. So
we'll move
this
along.
week we're covering chapters 3 and 4 of the book Crucial Conversations. We're going to talk about how to start with heart and how to address what we really want. This will help us have true, crucial conversations that actually solve things and not keep real matters covered up. Last but not least, we're going to address what we really want to walk away with and apply from today's episode. But first, a word from our sponsor. Do you know of any outsourced IT service providers who want to stop sifting through resumes and start building their team with greater focus and expediency? If so, MSP Hire is for them. With msphire.com, get the right hire the first time.
Thank you, MSP Hire. We really appreciate your sponsorship of this episode. Love it. All right, let's talk about last episode. We defined what a crucial conversation was. To recap that a little bit, it was a conversation that had high stakes, opposing opinions, or some strong emotions included in it. We also defined what the pool of shared meaning was. Pool of shared meaning is the idea that all of the facts and observations, all of the interpretations and assumptions, everyone's feelings and concerns, experiences in their context, everybody's needs and desired outcomes, everything is out on the table, everything has been discovered, and everything is out in the open. So that's the pool of shared meaning. We discussed why that was critical and how to go about creating that pool of shared meaning. And I think that was really critical to all of the conversations. If you want to learn more about what those pool of shared meaning is and how to get into that and make sure it's fully disclosed, and more about what a crucial conversation is, go back and listen to last week's episode. Again, that's on easiest place to find that's on YouTube. You can also find that on the book club website. This week, we are going to move into chapters 3 and 4. Now that we've identified what a crucial conversation is and what the pool of shared meaning is and has been established, What do we do with it? Alan, what do we do next?
Well, the author claims that we have to first choose the right conversation for our next steps. And when we first started this book, Chris, I was like, oh yeah, like I'm pretty good at crucial conversations. And then I immediately got into the meat of the matter with this chapter, and I realized how often I have done this incorrectly and why some of my crucial conversations have failed. So the author recommends using a method that he gives you an acronym for called CPR, where C is for content. Content is, hey, this thing happened. Can we talk about it? And that is the easiest crucial conversation to have, right? This thing happened. What do we do? How do we fix it? Not a big deal. And again, easy enough. I'm checking boxes. I'm really good at this book. Yay me. And then it goes, okay, well, then there's a second layer. What happens when a pattern is forming? I think the author used the same book that I was thinking of. I'm sorry, the author used the same example I was thinking of, which was somebody is coming in late to work, right? After a few minutes late, you talk to them. Hey, what happened? Oh, there's this car accident on this road, that road, whatever. Like, oh, well, don't let it happen again. Or, hey, that sucks. Glad you're here. It's a different conversation than when you say, hey, you've been late every day this month. What's going on? And I've had this conversation a few times in my life. And what do they invariably do? They actually say, oh, well, today I was late because of a car accident. I was like, yes, but we're not talking about today. We're talking about the pattern. And this was the aha moment for me in this chapter of the book, is there's a difference in the agenda and the purpose of the meeting you're having. We are not having a content discussion. We are having a pattern discussion. And you have to, as a crucial conversation haver, you have to be able to remember where you are and keep the conversation to level. And there's even a third level called relationship. That's C, content, pattern, relationship. And that's, okay, maybe this pattern has existed for so long, you're beginning to wonder, do you respect me? Are you competent? You have all these things that it could be, and you have to have that relationship level conversation. And they also added a bonus for one other thing to fix, and I like it because it's the word process. It's not part of CPR, but it is and also could happen. And the author's example was she was giving critical feedback, a crucial conversation, to somebody in another country. And she could tell it wasn't going well. And she circled back later to have that new crucial conversation. What happened here? And he's like, oh, well, in my country, it's much more polite to actually ask how you're doing and about your family before you launch into critiques. And she's like, oh, so the process by which I'm communicating to you is not very effective. Heck, even here at Sedaris, Chris prefers emails. I prefer Teams, and knowing those things can also help with having crucial conversations or preventing having to have them in the first place. That was the meat of what I got out of that chapter. But there was plenty more on how to diagnose it. Shannon, are you live now?
Yes, I am live. So sorry about that earlier. I appreciate the things that you brought out, Alan. I think that's so true that like you said, to tap into that context part, I think the majority of us, that's how we address issues, is we try to address things right as they are in the moment, but not the full picture, but what we see right now, so that we could open up the conversation, because that's what's top of mind. And but we're going to learn later in this book how doing that, sometimes what it does is it allows the person who you're trying to address to just drop an issue that's current, like, I had issues with my kids, and so this is why this happened. And then we sometimes we just don't have the courage to just step up and just go to address the whole issue, to think back, why is it, do a self-assessment and say, why is it that I am not wanting to why is it that I'm getting heated up and I don't really want to go there with them for the whole picture? So this is a lot about stopping and doing self-analysis before, so that we could get into true crucial conversations, right?
Yeah, there's a good rule the book gives you, which is to always hold the conversation at the highest possible CPR level. So content, shoot, content,
Pattern.
pattern, relationship. And that same example I mentioned so many times, I'm trying to have a pattern or relationship conversation, but somebody brings up a piece of content that's possibly related, but it's not at the right level, and we have to bring it back.
Yeah.
Um,
That I think that's that analogy or the story about being late to work is really that exact thing. It's like, well, yes, you were late today because of that thing, but what about the 25 other days previously? Let's talk about that. And not that you want to hear 25 different excuses about 25 different days, but it's that it's a pattern. And I think after I read this, that really became clear how many discussions I actually have in my life that are actually that way. And what normally happens is you quickly start talking about how the one instance of today or the latest one, instead of drawing back and focusing on the bigger pattern as a whole. And that's easy. You get sidetracked. You start talking about the details and you lose the context of, yeah, but it's not really about today. It's about 20 days prior, every day for the last 20 days. Let's get back to that. So reframing things, I think, is really relevant in this chapter.
Yeah,
I think that's the reason why. I think that's the reason why we consider them truly crucial conversations, because without going there to basically say what's the root cause of this, we're probably going to have this dance for many. I mean, it could be years, right? And then just basing the conversations on how hot your ears get, you start getting upset and don't know why. So I think that's the beauty of what what we're being able to apply from this book, is that we're encouraged to think about what it is that we really want to get out of this. I mean, the desired outcome is probably the same or similar, right? I mean, between the person that you're talking to and what you've got going on, your feelings, and so you want the same outcome, but how do you get there? And I think there was a good point about this lady named Greta, who was, and this was kind of her issue, is that she had to decide that really this person who seems like they were really against her because they were talking, she'd bring up a problem. This person's going to say, well, what about you and what you did in this situation? Because you seem you seem like you're preaching one thing and I'm experiencing something different. Her initial thought was to go after them. Like, cut that guy back and say, well, this is because don't have the insights that I have, right? But the real value that she was missing at first, this individual could be the very person that's giving her the information she needs, the true, honest, open communication. And it hit. It's rough swallowing it. But if she can and she could reason with this person, that person's going to give her feedback no one else many times is willing to stand up and give. So isn't it interesting to think, well, I'm not going to go after this person. Let me find out where they're coming from and leverage them, as probably the only person that's going to give me what I need to get where I want to go.
Yeah.
And coming back to that list for the CPR, and Shannon, you had mentioned really early on in our conversation here that people like to bring up other issues as well, not even intentionally, but like with all these problems, and they all come out during the meeting. Like, what do you do? And there's a couple of quotes that the author gives us that we can use. One, when we're having this meeting, is to actually establish the agenda by saying, the issue I want to discuss is, and saying, hey, I would like to discuss the pattern of your lateness to work. And so when there's any deviation from that or going back to content, like, no, actually, I want to talk about the pattern, as I told you ahead of time, to establish that. And he also has it for what happens when new issues appear, where you have to show that you're listening, but you also have to get back on topic. And the quote they gave you here, and I'm going to use this sometime, I'm sure, that matters, and I want to return to it. First, let's finish this issue of the pattern of lateness.
Yeah. That being able to put a pin in it, put it in the parking lot, whatever your term is.
Yeah.
Come back to it. That's a skill, because you're going to, if it is critical and a critical conversation, you're going to want to talk about that, but you got to stay on task, stay focused, and keep it at the level you want.
I know when I'm facilitating a meeting, when it's just my usual weekly leadership team meeting, Yes, some of those conversations are crucial conversations that get heated. Many of them are teams operating quite fine, but we have this tool built into our meeting process. Like, oh, that's a great topic. Let me write this in the list of issues we have to solve, which is the polite way of saying, hey, you're off track.
Yeah.
Let me capture this because it's not a bad idea and get us back on track.
Yeah. If only we could do our personal relationships as the Allen Epic meetings.
I might actually do that, which is not necessarily recommended, by the way. It's hard to slip out of this mode once you get into it.
Might have led to some separations along my life.
I was bringing the question that came up for me with this group is that what we're learning here is probably the best way to address these issues, right, in a very positive way. And I'm kind of curious, like, I haven't even thought about this till now for myself. It's like, does it take courage to go there? Does it take stopping a minute and getting some self-awareness to go there to that issue? Or, what's that key factor, because I think with Alan, I think you could be really direct, which is good, like directly, at least weaving there, getting there to what the true issue is. But I don't know about for you, if that's just easy, like comes with your nature. Is it, did you have to show courage? Passion over anything else. Like, hey, I'm really passionate about this. I want to make this happen. So it's natural for me to go there because I want to solve.
Yeah. I mean, for a direct answer, it's a little bit of all of those things. We're all built differently, right? We've all had different experiences that got us to where we are. All of our brains are wired different. And yes, I come naturally to handling my emotions better. We even talked about when we reviewed the Let Them theory that I learned that word stoic. So yeah, I have a little more control over my emotions over others, and one is not better than the other. I can tell you many times that that's gotten me in trouble. In fact, this book covers that too later on. How to deliver the information, which I taking notes on as well. So yeah, sometimes it requires some courage. And we're gonna maybe this is a great time to transition, but it's really about your motive. So why are you doing these things? If you're doing it for manipulation purposes, that's the wrong use of the tool.
Yeah. So once we stop arguing about the incident and identify what the real conversation is, whether it's using the CPR method, it's one time recurring, or if it's about the relationship, then we need to quickly pivot to the how-to of the dialogue. So, and the book would suggest that this is the start with heart parts. How we start the conversation is leading with our heart. And when I read this chapter, Shannon, I think right at the beginning there was a quote that reminded me of an Ice Cube saying. I think he had something to say about leading with his heart. Do you remember what that is? This is a do you remember from the 80s moment?
Oh yeah. Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Exactly.
He says something because such and such is bad for your health, but yeah, check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Wait, there's more.
Yeah, he had quite a lot to say about that actually, but I think that is a good startup to the lead with heart. Is you got to start with yourself, right? So, Shannon, give us the start with heart. What is that?
Yeah. So starting with heart, I think this is really where it hits home is that self-assessment piece. And maybe at this point we don't have to start talking about courage. We can start talking about the process, right? So check your motive. What do I want for myself? So what is it that I really want? Like this Greta, what she really wanted was to succeed. She wanted, what do I want for them? Do I want them to succeed? Do I want them to be, do I want to make sure that I have control over them? What's your intent? Check that out. What do you want for the relationship between you and the person that you're addressing issues with? And so I'd say, the first four things we could ask when we start with heart is, what do I want for myself? What do I want for them? What do I want for the relationship between us? How do I want it to be? And the fourth would be, how would I behave if I truly wanted these outcomes?
And that's
Go ahead. Sorry, Alan.
No, go ahead, Chris.
Are these things that we ask subconsciously or in our internal dialogue during the conversation, or are these something we need to plan out ahead of time?
I think it's before, in what's happening, and after. I mean, that's what I'm thinking. Especially if you know you're going to bring up the subject, but sometimes the subject doesn't. You obviously you don't know what's going to happen. It just happens in the middle of a meeting, and that's where the skill set. Knowing you read this book, I think that's where you try your best to apply it, right? And then
I see this book as one of many habit-changing books, right? We have to develop our habits, and the way I see habit development is first is awareness. Oh, I have this habit, and then you figure out a solution. Like, oh, I should have used CPR to keep this agenda correct. I need to lead with heart and figure out what my motives are. And what happens next is you realize, like, oh, I missed an opportunity. Oh, I missed an opportunity, and then you start thinking about that fast enough, like, oh, I caught myself. Let me correct myself. Oh, I'm getting the hang of getting this done ahead of time. Until at some point it becomes an actual habit to be the kind of person who can have crucial conversations successfully more often than not.
Well, if that's the case, that would imply, so I guess stepping back for a minute, is that habits form by repeating a behavior over and over again. In a short period of time, right? There's some analogy I think out there that you have to do something, like if you're going to change a personal habit, you have to do it some number of times per some number of weeks, and then it's a habit. So we need to put ourselves into crucial conversations to embed these skills, or we're hoping that we have enough of these run into us during our life that we can create some habits. This seems difficult.
I think it's not if they happen. I think it's a win, because the simple fact that especially if you're going into an office at all, you're going to have these issues. You're responsible for people. You have direct reports. But I think it's like anything else. I don't know if you gents have been through any type of series of training where you remember a model and then you're supposed to apply it later on in life. And I'll just use one. I've had about 3 different ones. One of them was what was called an awareness wheel, and then you go through this little process. But the key to it was awareness, right? You got to be, first thing is to be aware when something is like uncomfortable or you're passionate about something that is way over here. The conversation is down here. You got to realize, okay, I'm passionate about this, and I don't feel like we're getting there. And it's just those times we want to try to be aware of our intuitions, so to speak. Like, yeah, this might be a good time.
So maybe it's more about spotting these conversations, because they are happening all around us all the time. We need to be better at identifying them.
I think practice to be tough, right? Because if you're practicing, you don't have that emotional investment that causes a crucial conversation. Yeah. I'm certainly tempted, by the way, to print a couple of index cards and laminate them with some of these tips, so that when suddenly I realize, oh, I'm emotional, I'm excited, whatever, pull up the card. Where am I? Am I doing this right? Yeah. And we all have different levels of how we present to our public, people who see us. I'm a naturally authentic person. I'm liable to, in the middle of a conversation, going, well, shoot, guys, I think this is a crucial conversation, and I read this about it. Let me check myself before I wreck myself, because Shannon did so. And that's how
good for your health.
That's probably how I would handle it as I started to catch it sooner and sooner in the process.
Well, real quick, before we're coming up to the end of the hour, and we've got a couple more things to cover. I know it's gone fast, but I want to make sure we get out there some terminology that I thought was really interesting. And one was the fool's choice. It gets mentioned a lot in this chapter, and again in repeated chapters. Alan, are you comfortable giving us a quick definition of what the fool's choice is?
Oh, heck yeah. I want to note, by the way, that the word fool's choice was used in all 3 books you've read so far.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I mean, maybe not emphasized to this degree, but it's always been like stop saying it has to be X or Y. They have to win the conversation, or I have to win the conversation. We do not have to choose between honesty or respect. We can do both, even if it's harder. We don't have to choose accountability or relationship or speaking up or keeping peace. We can do both.
So what is the fool's choice?
thinking you have to choose either when you can do both. That's the fool's choice.
Okay.
And
So-
in the 90s, we talked a lot about, win lose. And we that's where I think we started talking about, well, we want a win-win situation. We don't want to do this win-lose stuff all the time like that we've noticed, companies do in the past. I think that applies to this as well, as the mindset that we want both to win. And how do you do that? You have to find out what winning is on both sides.
I have taken that a step further, and I've tried to find out how can we have the same win versus win-win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the U.S. and Paraguay can both share the win.
Well, this goes back to this
In a sense.
strategy where there's games where there's you're competing for a resource of a win, and then there's crucial conversations where there's dialogue, meaning two people are talking. That can be the same win.
Okay, good. All right, I'm going to start incorporating the fool's choice into daily conversation. See if I can make it a habit.
All right.
All right. So
All
real
that
quick.
have fun.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Real quick, what's something, Shannon, that our listeners can do today to start with heart?
Start with heart is to think about your desired outcome. What is it that you really want for yourself? What is it that you want for the company? What is it that you want for the individual that you're talking to, that you're addressing issues, questions, or concerns with?
Okay. So can that be summed up by tell me what you want, what you really, really want?
Yeah.
They have a musical edition.
Yeah, this is, Leadership Lounge music edition.
Yeah.
Ding, ding.
Yeah.
All right. I like it. Alan, 10 seconds. What's something listeners can do today to start with heart?
Literally ask yourself the question before you walk into a crucial conversation of what is it that I want for them and what is it that I want for me? Maybe even jot that down to help guide you.
Okay. To keep you on track.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Wonderful. Well, thank you both. Let's see. Next week, we're going to advance in the book. We're going to talk about conversational safety and how to stay composed when you start to get angry, scared, or hurt. Like Shannon said, when your ears start to get hot and red. If you're reading along from home, that's chapters 5 and 6. If you're looking at what I now know to be book revision 2, it's chapters 4 and 7. But let's stick with the modern one. It's 5 and 6. Or, like always, you can leave it to us to do the heavy lifting and the long hours of reading. Either way, we will see everybody next week. Please like and subscribe to your favorite online channel to get notified when we start streaming next week. That's YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Thank you so much to Alan Edwards and Shannon McCoy from Sedaris. We all cross our fingers. Jay comes back to us next week with all of his arms.
Yeah.
And of course, a big thank you to our sponsors, MSP Hire. We couldn't do it without you guys. I'm Chris Duncan, and we will see you next week. Same time, same place, Thursday at noon Pacific. Bring your book, bring the thoughts.